the 2K Sports pregame show.
Ernie Johnson welcoming you to the NBA on 2K Sports. I'm here with Shaq and the Jet. The fans are filling the seats out in Boston, the site of our broadcast, and where the Celtics will be going up against the Detroit Pistons. Well, for Detroit, they're looking to come out strong and make their mark early. They have to look at this game as a great opportunity to do just that. And one of the guys we'll be seeing tonight is Al Horford. He's not a flashy guy by any means, has never gotten all that much national media love, but Shaq, wouldn't you say he is a solid a post player as
and
you'll
doesn't
find?
have the big contract, but he plays like it. I just want to say muchas gracias, papi. He's from Dominican Republic.
Oh, muy bien. Well, he does everything you want a post player to do. I mean, honestly, he passes the basketball. He can handle it off a rebound. He moves it, post moves. He does have to. He's improved his outside shot. But the only thing I would say is improve being more aggressive. I'd like to see Al at times try to get 30. Muy bien again.
And that does it for us.
Muchas gracias.
Thanks for tuning in.
De nada.
And we'll see you later.
It's an all-Eastern Conference matchup in today's game as the Pistons come into town for this one. We've got some terrific NBA action in store for you today. I'm Kevin Harlan, and here with me today, Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony.
Ready, gentlemen? Ready?
So Detroit will get the first possession. And a look at the starters for the Pistons. Johnson is out there with Griffin. Then there's Bradley. Then there's Jackson. And it's Drummond in at the 5, roaming the paint.
He was the first one to react to that miss. Excellent anticipation on his part. A hustle play on the putback by him.
Hayward on the wing. Fires from deep. Yes! And it's Irving picking up the assist. Hayward's got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball.
And one thing about Gordon Hayward, he's an excellent playmaker for a small forward. Averaged over 4 assists a game after averaging over 5 the year before. So you've got to love a scorer who is also unselfish.
Now, here is Irving. Lets it go from the baseline and nails it. Irving's got his first bucket in this one.
I tell you what, it's almost like stealing to watch how he plays the game from this seat.
Drummond a screen. Here's Griffin. And Drummond throws it down.
And great effort on the boards, and what a mean
dunk
that was, Kev. I mean, you just will not see him ever quit on a play.
That guy is a handful. You've got to have a body on him, Clark, at all times.
And you know what? Sometimes that's not even enough. He'll go around, over, or through you to get to the pumpkin.
The Pistons have gone 3 of 5 shooting the ball so far. There's a screen. Irving against Jackson. Clock at 6. Kicks it to Drummond. Dishes it to Griffin. Ring shot on the way. That one a little long. Boston's gone 1 of 2 from long range in the first quarter. And the wide open shot from Green. Releases from the wing and drills it. Several lead changes going on here in the early portion of this game.
Yeah, but neither team really able to jump ahead.
It reminds me of that cameo song, Back and Forth.
Now here's Griffin. The feed to Bradley. Jackson has the open look. And the 3 off target.
You know, even though he missed that three-point shot, I think the defense has to do a better job of challenging the shot.
Yeah, as a coach, you can really ill afford to have those types of opportunities presented against your defense.
You know, one of the things, guys, that impressed me about the Celtics was the number of assists they had. I mean, they really focused on moving the ball. And when you do that and you have shot makers, the assists pile up.
Now here's Griffin. Bradley kicks to Jackson. Detroit, no good that time either.
The defense needs to play tight on him, and that's exactly what they did to force that miss. Well done.
Horford. Rebound, Detroit. with the Celtics and their assists. They were second in the league in potential assists per game, meaning shots they missed that if they made would have been assists.
And that is a good thing, if you weren't sure. I mean, they were sandwiched between the Hawks and Warriors in that category. Pretty good company to be in. So they move the ball well. They just need to get a little more consistent at knocking down open shots.
Great assist that time by Kyrie Irving.
Here's Jackson. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. And here in the first quarter, with a little over 3.5 minutes played, left side, Griffin. They need this. Goes back up. In deep, Drummond drops it in.
And he's starting to get what he wants here early and often. Nice move.
Irving passes to Horford. Morris a screen. Horford missing again.
Hard to figure out how he doesn't knock that one down. No defender in sight.
We've got 1:55 left to play in the first. Pass to Drummond. That's good, and it's Jackson with the assist that time. 6 points for Andre Drummond.
And guys, he's not the tallest or most imposing wing player, but Stanley Johnson has incredible strength and really unmatched confidence. One reason why so many were high on him in the draft.
And now the first timeout called here for Boston. And for Johnson out of Arizona, Greg, his strength, as you were talking about, is his biggest asset. Helps that he has this incredible arm span. And Clark, you know what? He told me he likes to play the 2K game.
Yeah, he does enjoy that. He likes to play the real game, too, because he's hyper-competitive, and I think he's got a chance to be a superb defender at the NBA level.
Yeah, outstanding job there of taking the harm and still able to finish.
Yeah, he imposed his will on the defense that time. He was not going to be denied right there.
One shot. Mind the lanes. Mind the lanes. One shot.
And that one falls for Larkin. They might be named after a car part, but the Pistons had a rough go of things on the road, Clark. They just, I had to use it. They just couldn't stay consistent away from home.
They couldn't. Only won 14 road games, and that number is not enough to get you to the playoffs.
Again, Griffin missing.
Oh, a tough quarter for him offensively. He hasn't been able to give his team a lift when they need it. They've wasted no time settling into their offense.
Yeah, they're lasered in. I mean, really making the most of their possession.
And guys, for the Pistons' bad road record, a lot of it was due to their poor start on the road. Only managed to win one of their first 9 games, and that tends to take the confidence away from a young team.
Here's Larkin after the made shot from Andre Drummond. Here's Smart. Right through the D for the layup. Smart's got his first points of the game.
Oh, nice, strong drive there. If that's who's going to be guarding him, then he's got some weight to throw around.
You know, the last thing I'll say about the Pistons on the road, typically you have to be close to 500 on the road in order to make the playoffs. The Pistons won 7 in a row at one point on the road, but by then they had fallen too far back. A signature slam right there from the big fella. How many of those have we seen before?
The professors checked in for the Pistons. The Pistons shooting their first free throw this game. And the free throw, no good. It was a tough battle down the stretch, but the Celtics were able to get back into the playoffs last year.
And kind of just hovering around all season, but give them credit. They fought their way in and spent only 1 year out of the postseason in their rebuild.
Just 1 second between the shot clock and game clock. Here's Drummond. Takes it up with both hands and rips it down.
Now that's finishing your work right there.
Powerful two-hand jam. You're right.
And I tell you what, if he's got a few more of those in him, this lead will start shrinking even further.
Round kicks to Larkin. In the corner, Crowder with it. And no good trying to get that one. A free-flowing first quarter. Great scoring through one. Celtics out in front, up by 5. And we'll get the second quarter underway on the other side of this break. And Blake Griffin grew up playing the game alongside his older brother. His dad was his coach, and he credits his brother for inspiring him to work at his craft.
You know, watching him kind of go through the process of he started to get, recruited by college coaches, and then he, really took his game and became serious about it. And I watched his work ethic, and I watched how he, put the time in, the things he did, and that's kind of where I developed mine.
Well, talking about taking the right course, we know that the older brother of Blake Griffin, 3 years older, he played, as did Blake, for their dad Tommy in high school, and they were terrific high school players and 4-time state champions.
I mean, it always helps to have a big brother who's kind of been there and done that and can share those experiences with you. It doesn't hurt to have a dad also who was a pro player either, and also a college coach.
Now the second quarter getting ready to start up. And the Celtics guys, what jumps out to you, stats-wise?
Just the start they're looking for in this game. Solid offensively through the first.
Very crisp and sharp, not much stagnation at all on offense.
We've got Hayward. Horford is out there with Jay Crowder. Then there's Gerald Green, and it's Irving at the 1. That's the 5 to begin the second quarter for the Celtics. It's stolen by Smith. And so he draws the foul on the shot, a trip to the line to shoot 2.
And I like the fact that the defense is looking to protect the rim at all costs.
Definitely saved a layup with that foul, and he'll make him earn them from the line, and that's what you want to see.
And let's quickly check out the scoring breakdown here for the Celtics.
They've been making some really nice passes out there, excellent passing. That could set the tone for the rest of the game.
Yeah, also something I like out of them so far, they're throwing their bodies around in the paint, and the physicality is taking its toll.
Morris is checked in for Boston. And Detroit with a change here, too. Blake Griffin, he's checked in for the Professor. That's off as well, so he misses both.
Well, we know prior to last season, the Pistons handed the car keys over to Stan Van Gundy. He had some early hiccups, but overall, I think they're headed in the right direction. He's a proven winning coach in the NBA.
And Detroit has possession after the basket by Boston. Smith outside. He dishes it to Johnson. On the wing, Jackson. Just 5 on the clock. Good D by Irving. Well, with Coach Stan Van Gundy, it was a very successful first year in Detroit. He's a guy who's going to build around defense. That's been his MO.
And Van Gundy has always been a defensive first type guy, Kevin. I mean, the last 30 years, he has probably the best defensive efficiency for a career as a coach. And his teams always play with great emphasis on that side of the ball.
Kyrie Irving may be the best ball handler in the league. There are a lot of guys with a good handle. He is definitely in the top 5. If not, he's got to be in the conversation.
And arguably the most talented player at his position. I mean, he can get wherever he wants to on the court. He's athletic, an unbelievable finisher as well. I think that's something that oftentimes gets underrated. Maybe the best finisher in the game.
Agreed. Detroit making a switch here. Tolliver's checked in. And so Irving nails both of them.
And, Kyrie Irving, really ambidextrous as a ball handler. because you can't play him to one side, and he's ambidextrous as a finisher, too. He's so creative and crafty. Terrific at the rim with both hands.
And he came off that screen, and the D just didn't get over the top of him.
Yep, weren't there in time enough to challenge Greg, and when that's the case, you can mark those up for him.
Morris, no good.
And one thing about Irving's ball handling, he does a great job of protecting the ball. A very low rate of turnovers for a player as aggressive as he is on the bounce.
Now Smith, following the miss by Marcus Morris from deep. Here's Irving, finished off the break. Irving's got 4 points this quarter.
And that's the kind of play you just do not want to give up defensively. You lose the possession and give up a quick 2 at the other end. That's losing basketball.
Especially when you can't afford to give up any buckets. That's a nice lead now.
Jackson kicks to Smith. Jackson setting the pick here for Smith. Griffin a screen on Green. 5 on the clock. The Pistons need to get off a shot here. Griffin goes in. Yes, and it's Smith with the assist that time. Now a timeout called by Boston.
They can't guard us on the perimeter. Spread the floor and isolate up top. Spacing, fellas. Spacing.
And better as the season wore on. Overall, they cut out the little mistakes that had bothered them back in 14.
And a whole new group out on the floor for the Celtics. Celtics leading by 4. Smart kicks to Larkin. Banked in off the glass. Larkin's got 7 points.
A defensive breakdown there, no doubt about it. I mean, he's a guy you have to be focused on defensively.
Smith with it. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. Jackson, that's good.
Timely passing leads to assists, and that's been the recipe for success.
Everybody on the same page, completely in sync, tremendous communication and awareness.
And the basket good.
They're getting on a roll inside. Their last 3 field goals have come from inside the paint area.
There's got to be a wall of defense when it comes to attacking the paint, plain and simple.
And taken away by Johnson. Here's Larkin. Great pass to set up the lay-in. Larkin's got the lead up to 7 now for the Celtics.
And they're beginning to just flat out fall apart defensively right now, especially on the interior.
Yeah, and that's 4 straight field goals now, Greg, they've allowed from point-blank range. Can't happen.
And the shot is good. And that's now 6 points for Reggie Jackson.
The D with very little pressure on their perimeter shooters. 3 of the last 5 baskets they've allowed have been of the 3-point variety.
And you need the defense to stop the bleeding.
There's a minute 34 left in the second quarter. Griffin dishes to Tolliver. Back to Griffin. Outside for Jackson. Inside. And Griffin slams it in.
Hang time on that rim puts a little whipped cream on that angel food cake there.
it's a tight ball game, and those displays of strength, Clark, can get one team rolling.
Agreed.
And also the other on its heels. Let's see how this one turns out.
Nice shot by Smart. There's a minute left in the first half of the game. And the Pistons decide to take their first timeout right here. And watching Amir Johnson, Clark, he seems so casual about silently destroying opponents in the paint, and he's carried that air about him almost his entire career.
You know what? He's rarely had plays called for him, Kevin. He doesn't produce a bunch of highlights, but he's really potent. I mean, one of the league's best at defending opponents at the rim, grabbing in-traffic rebounds. Those both are valuable assets.
So Boston ends up going with a new group and a different look here for the Pistons. Drummond's checked in for Griffin. The professor comes in for Anthony Tolliver. Johnson, he's checked in for John Lure. And Bradley's subbed in for Smith. Now here's Johnson. Outside Jackson. To the inside. Down to 5 on the shot clock.
Not sure if they're aware of the 2-for-1. And that's the classic 1-2 punch right there. I mean, nice steal. And then how about the elevation, Kevin, on the finish?
And Greg, nothing spurs some quick offense like a great play defensively.
That indicates the importance of great on-the-ball defense, as was displayed right there.
That was a nice replay brought to you by Kia.
You know, even though he missed that three-point shot, I think the defense has to do a better job of challenging the shot.
Yeah, as a coach, you can really ill afford to have those types of opportunities presented against your defense.
Now Bradley. He hasn't yet put up any points in this one. And it's Drummond with the jam.
With the points he's racked up in the paint, he's taking some pressure off of their perimeter shooters.
Here's Rozier, and the release was before the buzzer, but it's off target. And we're through the first half of basketball here, and what's been a good one. Celtics lead by 5. We're going to step away briefly, but get you right back out here for the start of the third quarter after our halftime.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, everybody. Ernie Johnson here, joined by Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. We welcome you to the halftime show on 2K Sports. Things were going Boston's way from the beginning. Their lead at one point was up to 7, and they had some real nice momentum going. They were able to string together a nice set of offensive plays to finish the quarter, making their last 4 shots. In quarter number 2, we saw more of the same, as the scoring stayed even, and they went into halftime still ahead by 5. Kenny, what's your take on Boston so far?
Well, the reserves really came through when they needed a spark. This is a close game. Any points you can get from your bench are huge. I thought the bench guys came in and inserted themselves like they wanted a starting spot. And that's what you want. Subs who are ready to produce the moment they step on the floor.
And Shaq, what are your thoughts on Detroit?
Well, those second chance points are huge, and they only came because of their effort. Their work on the offensive glass is what's keeping them in the game. They definitely should try to continue to stay tough on the glass. It's been key so far.
And that's it for halftime, as the second half is just about to get underway. See you after the game.
Here we go now, the start of the third quarter, welcoming you back in a closely contested first half so far.
Drummond having a terrific game. He has 14 points, and when it comes to rebounding, he's had a nice night there, too.
He's not afraid to mix it up there in the middle, getting in there and doing a lot of the dirty work.
Celtics leading by 5. On the floor for Detroit. Griffin is out there with Johnson. Then there's Reggie Jackson. Then there's Andre Drummond. And it's Bradley in at the 2-guard.
How can you forget about him? I mean, he's not going to miss that open of a look.
Well, you know, last season I thought the Celtics made some strong waves in the East. I mean, they kept fighting and fighting all season long, and they ended up in the playoffs because of that never-give-up attitude.
And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot. And for the Celtics, 28 of their 40 wins on the season came against the East. Not impressive, but it got the job done in a conference which could be had at times, obviously.
That's true, but what should be noted, Kevin, about the Celtics against the East is just how well they played against the Eastern Conference playoff teams.
Right.
I mean, against the East top 8, they shot a lot better and executed a lot better as well. So you can see them stepping up their game against the competition.
So he hits 1 of 2 from the stripe. And guys, Andre Drummond has made quite an impression in the early stages of his career. Clark, you were just talking about that. Greg, I don't think anyone felt he would have such an impact this fast.
Yeah, I mean, he's already a mountain of a man among boys. I mean, it's hard to believe when you look at this guy out there. He's only 22 years old.
Here's Bradley after the basket by Boston.
Going back to Andre Drummond, some say there aren't any true centers entering the NBA these days. But I look at Andre, I look at DeMarcus Cousins, Joel Embiid, Karl Anthony Towns, and I think to myself, what are these people talking about?
And talking about Andre Drummond, I remember when he fell to number 9 on draft day. All sorts of experts were making excuses as to why. But even then, there was this eerie feeling that some teams had made a huge mistake in passing on him. And that feeling turned out to be correct.
Both free throws good from Avery Bradley.
And Detroit with a 32-50 record last season. They didn't have any help from the schedule. They had a total of 22 back-to-back series on the year, tied for most in the league.
Johnson kicks to Bradley. Lets it go from 14. No good. So the Celtics will take it the other way. Out of bounds. Detroit takes possession.
And you know what? His mind's playing tricks on him right now because he's not going to live that one down easily.
And here in the second half of play, we're just over a minute in. Greg, you just said the Pistons had a ton of back-to-back games. 44 were part of their back-to-backs, over half their schedule. Clark, they went 15-29 in those games.
And that's part of the reason why the NBA wanted to examine the schedule. I mean, it was a tough year for the Pistons. It's hard to get any momentum when you're playing that many back-to-backs.
And Hayward with the stuff.
Taking it to the rack with power right there.
And hammering down with the two-handed slam.
Just piling on the lead with a dunk like that.
Irving against Jackson. To the paint. Here's Drummond. And the dunk to finish it off. A beauty.
Tell you what, Kevin, they'd love to see him get a lot more of those opportunities.
Clark, that deficit will go away quickly if he does.
And how about how he capped that one out? Almost like the 1-2 punch.
Now a timeout called by Boston. Reggie Jackson had made some noise about wanting a big contract to be moved last year. Ultimately, he was traded to Detroit.
Yep, Kevin traded from the Thunder to the Pistons, and it actually happened on deadline day.
Smart's checked in for Boston. Shane Larkin comes in for Irving. And the Pistons making a change here as well. Smith is checked in. Now here's Smart. He has 5. Here's Larkin. 6 for 6. He's yet to miss from the field.
And if you go back, remember Jackson struggled with the Pistons last year as well. So the team went on a losing streak as soon as he got there.
Kicks it out to Bradley. Bounces high off the rim and drops.
You know, I think when you've got somebody that open on the perimeter, a good shooter, the kick-out's the only choice.
Larkin kicks to Morris. Hayward on the wing. From outside the arc. Griffin grabs the board.
And Jackson will look for a fresh start this season. I mean, hard to play with all the drama and questions going in your head about pending free agency.
Drummond, and he takes the feed in stride and slams it home.
And ran his man straight into the screen and got a clear path to the bucket.
That is how it is done.
Excellent team play there on the pick, and then he ripped it down.
Now here's Hayward. 10 points for him. And again, it's Boston converting.
He's been one of their more reliable options today, guys. I mean, his shooting has led them to this lead.
Well, last year for the Celtics, they weren't exactly world beaters.
They can't guard us on the perimeter. Spread the floor and isolate up top. Spacing, fellas. Spacing.
In Boston, not great, but at least it was over 500 for a young up-and-coming team.
So it's the Pistons now. 7-point differential. Now here is Smith. D right on him. Johnson can't get it to go.
If they could end every possession with that shot, they'd be happy. 9 times out of 10, that's an easy layup for them.
And Hayward gets it to go.
And that's sort of been the story here today, hasn't it?
Second half here. We're just over 3.5 minutes into it. Smith outside. Drummond a screen. In the corner, Bradley with it. Trying to come right back with the three of his own, but it's no good. Nice shot by Larkin. And it's a 12-point Celtic lead.
This is some kind of performance we're seeing from him today. He has yet to miss a shot.
Detroit's gone 3 of 7 tonight from three-point territory. To the middle to end the run. Rebound Boston.
And you can see the defenders afraid to kind of get in his way a lot of times when he's on his way to the basket. But on that one, they were there.
Marcus Smart was drafted to the Celtics as their future point guard. He came in with a lot of work to do and a skill set that people really liked. But his first season, Clark, was a roller coaster.
Yeah, it really was. He was an off guard in high school and in his first year of college as well. Really only played full-time at the point the year before he was drafted.
No good on that one.
And for Smart, though, he still has a lot of work to do on his ball handling and passing. His shooting, I think, exceeded some people's expectations. 37% from the field last year was subpar, but his 34% accuracy from three was solid. He finally started going straight up on his jumper instead of leaning in, and his release looked money.
Good on the second free throw.
You know, you talk about Smart's lackluster field goal percentage. Once he gets more comfortable with his ball handling and adjust to the length in the NBA, I think he'll convert more at the basket. That'll also create more drive and dish chances for him as well.
Now, here is Smith. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him.
Just no chance for the smaller defender to block that shot.
He's really, really good at using his size to free himself up for those mid-range jumpers. A master at it.
And there's the pass to Monroe. Pulls up on the elbow. The shot, no good. And Detroit the other way now. Clark, some tough offensive sets. They want to turn it around.
Yeah, they need a basket just to regain some momentum here, Kevin.
Soft touch off the glass. The Professor's got it back down to within single digits for the Pistons. Now here's Smart. He's got 6. Hayward passes to Crowder. The basket good off the assist from Hayward. Hayward's got his 5th assist in this one.
They haven't been as aggressive from outside as they were in the first half. They're playing smart with the lead. I like that. They're being very selective and deliberate in their offense. That's a good strategy when you're on top.
Bradley drives in, and that's out of bounds. Detroit will retain possession. Some changes for Boston. Johnson, he's checked in for Hayward. Green comes in for Brown. And Irving subbed in for Smart. Anthony Tolliver, he's checked in for the Pistons. Jackson comes in for Ish Smith. .35 seconds left in the third quarter of the game. To the middle, 6 on the shot clock. And now it's Green running. He can go all the way. The shot's good from Irving.
And that's how the coach would draw it up on the fast break from start to finish.
Yeah, and what a finish it was, guys. Really nicely done.
Jackson against Irving. Now here's Jackson. Not a lot of room. Pass to Griffin. The 10-footer. The shot no good. Irving. Can't hit. And as we end the third quarter, a double-digit deficit will make it tough to come back. It's the Celtics as they end the third quarter on a 12-4 run. And time for the short break, and stay right where you are. The fourth quarter is coming up next. And we welcome you back as we get going here in the fourth quarter. The final quarter of play can change everything. And here's Bradley. We've got Gerald Green. Johnson is out there with Monroe. Then it's Jay Crowder, and it's Irving at point. That's the Boston 5.
A slight rebound advantage for them. One more column in their favor, and it's all adding up.
Well, you take a look at all of the stats, the team stats, that is, and that's one of the many areas that they've had the advantage. And as a result, they've got a big lead.
Outside Jackson. There's the screen. Feeds it to Griffin. Shoots from the baseline. No good. In and out off the rim.
Not sure what the D was doing there. Clearly a breakdown. You can ill afford to give a guy like him that good a look.
Here's Johnson. Here's Monroe. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. And a chance to catch up on some numbers here. The scoring breakdown for Boston.
Boy, their passing has been picturesque, a thing of beauty in both halves. More than a few of their baskets have come off assists.
Yeah, but they've also done a great job of playing in space, getting out in transition every opportunity.
Here's what Boston's going with right now. Morris comes in for Johnson, and Gordon Hayward is subbed in for Crowder. Johnson, he's checked in for the Pistons. And so Monroe nails both of them. One thing about Greg Monroe, he is a highly skilled big.
He really is. I love the fact that he can do so much. He can post you up, he can pop out and knock down the 15-footer. He's an outstanding passer, and at his size, those are skills that have served him and his teams well.
And it's Drummond with the jam.
Assistant, Reggie Jackson.
Celtics leading by 15. Irving kicks to Hayward. Monroe down low. Working on Drummond. Monroe, no good.
And that's the way you want to defend. Nice job there.
Always important to have that good interior defense.
Bradley, no one around him. That's good, and it's Jackson with the assist that time.
Talk about doing a Rip Van Winkle on defense. Come on, guys, wake up. Why are they leaving him open at the three-point line? Come on.
Back to Irving. Can't get it to go. Nice D from Griffin. Pistons trail by 12. It's Bradley on the wing. Good on the shot, and that shaved the lead to single digits. Bradley's got 10 points here in the second half.
And guys, Reggie Jackson was at the end of a yo-yo last season. He starts at Oklahoma for an injured Westbrook. Westbrook comes back, sends Jackson to the bench. Then Oklahoma sends Jackson to Detroit, where he fills in for another injured starter in Brandon Jennings for the rest of the year.
A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Hey, guys. Well, Brad Stevens had some advice for the team over that last break. He wants to make sure they stay assertive and aggressive on the offensive end, saying, I don't want to sit on this lead. Let's build on it and not give them a chance of coming back. Guys?
Here's what Boston's going with right now. Al Horford, he's checked in for Monroe. Larkin comes in for Green, and Smart subbed in for Irving. Now getting back to Jackson, he showed several times last season that he has that starter ability. The Thunder knew they wouldn't have the money to re-sign him, Clark, in free agency, so they traded him to avoid losing him for nothing.
Yeah, and that's a good move. And with the Pistons, Jackson finished the season strong, while the Thunder, without Jackson or Durant's contributions, missed the playoffs for the first time in years.
Fourth quarter of play, and we're about 2.5 minutes through it right now.
And you can sense things now starting to tighten up. Their offense has become unstoppable.
And, Greg, I'm not quite sure why it took them as long as it did to finally get things going, but as we always say, better late than never.
And that's the kind of lead pass we've come to expect from him.
Pistons trail by 11. And let's get this update now from Doris Burke, who's across the way on the sideline.
Over that last break, Kevin, I got a chance to hear what Stan Van Gundy said to the team. He made no mistake that their plan was to run their offense through Drummond. When Coach addressed the guys in the huddle, his message was clear. Quote, he's who we want getting the bulk of the touches. He is who we want making our decisions. Another part of what he said to them centered on his desire to see them shooting the ball every opportunity that presents itself. He said, fire away, guys. You've got the green light. A few late-on-the-fly adjustments as the situation gets more desperate for them. It's going to be a tough hill to climb, guys.
All right, Doris, thanks. Now here's Jackson. Defense right on him. He feeds it to Griffin. And you can count it. He'll go to the line with a chance to make it 3.
Check out the game for Blake Griffin. 12 points and not a bad game for him on the glass either.
Not at all, partner. That's somewhere where he can be more effective, I think, on any given night.
That's good from Blake Griffin. Here's Larkin. He kicks it to Hayward. To the left side wing. And the wide open shot from Morris. The basket good off the assist from Hayward. And the Celtics lead by 10.
And you can tell they're just a little out of sync. I think he just wants to get everybody back on the same page.
Yeah, I like this timeout, Greg. I think it's a good one because it looks like they need a minute to talk things through here.
Now a timeout called by Detroit. Green, he's checked in for Boston. Irving comes in for Marcus Smart. Here's Griffin, and it's sent back by Horford, and the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Horford. Now a timeout called by Detroit. They're down by 10. 1:57 left to play in the final quarter. .157 left in the fourth quarter. They get it back. Griffin. And the rebound paying off as they pick up 2 on the second chance bucket right there.
In order to cut into this lead, I think one of the things they've got to do a better job of is crashing the glass.
Irving kicks to Hayward. Over in the corner, Green. And it's sent back by Drummond. It's Jackson with the drive. They grab their own miss. Guys, a good chance for them to slow it down.
Yeah, I agree. Got to use some clock here.
Green dishes to Morris. Back to Green. Outside Irving. From deep. Scored the bucket. He's made 5 so far, shooting a very clean 5 of 7.
You know, the defense was lax right there, and he's able to make them pay.
Pistons trail by 11. Jackson kicks to Griffin. Fires from deep. And Jackson with the basket on the assist by Griffin.
And how about that, responding to the three-pointer against them with a quick one of their own.
Terrific little tay-to-tay going on right now. Back and forth. Here we go.
Now here's Irving. Outside, Green. The dish to Hayward. Clock at 6. And again, Boston with the triple.
I don't want to say they're trying to run up the score here, but they do keep adding to the lead.
Well, I know you don't want to say it, but I will, partner. I mean, they're trying to run the score up here. It's plain and simple. They're trying to throw salt all in that wound.
And here is Johnson after Gordon Hayward hitting the 3. Bradley kicks to Jackson. Takes the 13-footer. Bradley can't get it to go. Here's Boston now. 17 points was their biggest margin, and Hayward gets it to go.
The fans are just loving what's going on here tonight. A really good win for the home team.
It sure is. I mean, they kept this crowd in the game, gave them plenty to cheer about, and really used that home court advantage to their advantage.
And that's how you make a steal count. Turn it into a quick slam at the other end.
It was really a case, it looked like Greg Anthony right there, if I can say so. It was really a case of a great defensive play triggering some instant offense.
Yeah, I remember GA as an irritant, and this guy, much like Greg, creating havoc out there.
And so it's Boston easily grabbing this one. A confident win, and one where they clearly showed the greater effort.
They certainly put on a good show here at home, and I think they felt they had the edge and that extra little bit of confidence.
And that about wraps it up for Clark, Greg, and Doris, and the rest of our terrific crew. This is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Hi again, everybody. This is Ernie Johnson, joined by Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. Time now to present our Jordan Player of the Game, Gordon Hayward. He notched his season high, and his scoring really seemed to set the tempo for his team tonight.
I can't imagine a player having a better night from the field than he had tonight. His shooting percentage was off the charts. He used every trick in the book to get those high percentage shots. He shot from every direction, and there was a little bit of luck here and there, but he was on fire.
I don't know if there's a fan base that loves their star more than this crowd. Wow. I'm getting jealous, and he feeds off that support. Once they got behind him, he became unstoppable, man.
And that'll do it for this edition of the NBA on 2K Sports. Hope you enjoyed the show. From myself, Kenny Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, Kevin Harlan, and the entire 2K Sports crew, have a wonderful evening.